Why would we why would we start over to reappoint a committee when we have a committee?
Because I wasn't aware of it and it wasn't voted on in front of the board.
Ron, it was voted on in front of the board.
Well,
I would not
bring it to
appoint
me,
a
Arnold, and I'll
committee.
crawl
I
under
would
the
not
bench.
appoint a committee to go over evaluations.
But you said, were they appointed or were they volunteer?
They, whichever. What's the difference?
After my original, this was original motion. I would therefore move that the reviews be discontinued until the proper procedures are in place.
That's your original motion.
Right.
Is that are you seconding that original motion, Mary?
Second.
And to complicate things further, we still have an opinion from the legal counsel that said since it wasn't on as an item, can't act on it. And I've been looking through the open meeting law and I have not specifically found what Pam was talking about.
Well, what I said was that you do not have to have that written on the agenda.
And you said it was in the Open Meetings Act. Can you show that to me?
The Open Meetings Act tells you under agenda how the agenda needs to be done. You don't have the agenda part there? And all it says, it does not say you have to have motion written and discussion. All it says is the topics have to be on there so that the public understands.
So what you're saying is that if you don't have a discussion and approval, you can still go ahead as long as you had discussion.
You actually don't have to write discussion or anything. You can just write what is the topic so that the public knows what's going to be presented in the meeting. Motions and votes and everything can occur for any established topic. This county has gotten into the habit, perhaps out of trying to make things easy, of writing discussion, move to a
Discussion and approval.
yeah, and motions and so on. That's not necessary if it's a topic versus just comment at the end.
Judy, I'd still like you to report to us again on what you
There's not
said
the
earlier.
explanation parts. So in this
Would you come up
version
and
of
tell us
that.
what you said earlier? Why it can't
It
be
doesn't-
a motion on this? You are the head legal counsel of Washington County.
I think based on the agenda that you have before you today, you'll notice that on all of the items, you have motion. Mary, have a copy of some of these agenda. And after. 9:30, you have road study, motion to receive. Every agenda item on here, if you go through, has the word motion included. With the exception of Mr. Hineline's item, discussion of reviews of appointed and hired personnel. That's the only item on here that doesn't say possible motion. So I think that if you wanted to be, the only other item, and that hasn't come yet, is discussion of rock taken off the county roads for personal driveways. But I think reading as a whole, one could be misled that if you were that you're only going to discuss it, but you're not taking any action today. We can certainly quibble about what the public would see or believe or view. Just seems to me, given that this is obviously an important issue to you, my advice to you is to err on the side of caution, put it back on the agenda with discussion and motion, given that your other agenda items say "and motion." That's your call, that's my advice. And in that it does appear to be the only item, with the exception of the gravel, that doesn't indicate a possible motion. So I think if the public's looking at that, they would assume
I would
that you're
suggest
just gonna discuss it
they
today.
probably shouldn't put it on any of the items in the future, right?
That's not on the agenda today. I'm not gonna address that for you right
Yeah,
now.
okay. We always went into
How you
one.
want to do that and how you want to word your agenda. You asked me to stay today. I'm assuming that was one of your issues. I've given my advice. Ms. Daly's given hers. You can take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave the motion on the floor. I'll let you guys get rid of it.
You still second it, Mary?
Yes.
Need a motion, Robin, please?
He would like to, Ron Hineline would like to move that the reviews be discontinued till proper procedures are in motion.
That should be on the agenda next time. If it's not taken care of before then, it should be on the agenda next time as full business.
Can we just vote? And then you bring up the next?
Has everyone voted? Motion failed. The 3 noes are Wilcox, Quist, Clausen,
Thompson.
and Thompson. Yeses are Johnson, Barry Otis, and Hineline. Motion failed. There are many recesses today. Discussion and past and present evaluations of officials appointed by the board. Mike Smith, Roger Gillen, Cheryl Parson, Doug Cook, and Chris Robinson. Last meeting was quite a lengthy debate on this. And since this has transpired, the county attorney has sent this into the AG for a ruling on whether it should be a committee or whether it should be the full board. And of course, the big problem, the biggest concern comes on whether it should be a committee or a full board. If it is a full board, which I don't know how it is, then you have to have a closed session. Because you darn well can't discuss valuations of employees in open session. And the ruling is not back. So I don't know when it will be back. That was as of yesterday afternoon.
I make a motion, we table it, then we find out what we have.
Second.
Motion by Kent, second by Linda, to table it until we get a ruling back from the AG.
Okay, so, say that again now, you're saying that
The-
whether or not it's gonna
the-
be
she
by
sent it
full
in.
board or by.
Or by committee.
Okay, was that the question? Is that the
The
concern?
question is how it should be handled.
Yeah.
The question before was when was this appointed? There's 5 of us that know it was appointed, but we don't know when.
Mhm.
I'm sorry to tell you that. I've done a lot of research, and apparently it was done, just like some of this today where we've had a recess or something, was not on the agenda. I just asked for volunteers for Personnel Committee to go over the valuations.
Mhm.
2 volunteers, and I said, well, I'll do it, and that made the 3rd. So we went ahead.